Good luck, sir. We are live now.
Okay. Shall I start?
Yes.
Should I share my screen?
Yes, please.
My screen is visible?
Yes, visible? Yes. Good luck.
Okay. Okay, myself is Dr. Sudhakar Umale. I am working as adjunct professor in Thakur College of Engineering, Mumbai. Today's topic is model for planning lectures in engineering education. So we must have some teaching techniques in the classrooms. I have some questions to you. What does teaching mean to you? The answer is whether it is transferring knowledge to students, because nowadays teaching is only transferring available knowledge to students. Second is that whether it is understanding of fundamentals, whether you are teaching fundamentals to students, the teacher has no fear of learning new teaching strategies or incorporating new technologies into lessons. Before planning, we have some important questions regarding planning of lectures. How often do you teach? Answer may be whether you are a regular teacher or sometimes you are teaching the subjects. Whom do you teach? Whether it is school level, high school level, graduate level, and postgraduate level. And how many students or audience in the classrooms? And why plan lectures? This is the most important questions. Why we plan lectures? Why do I like teaching so much? What is good teaching means? So these are the questions. When we got the answer of these questions, definitely it means the planning of lectures. I want to explain some of the questions from this. Why do we plan lectures? So the lesson plan is very important. The lesson plan is really important as it helps in quality learning and specifications of lectures. You must understand what is meant by quality learning and quality teaching. A great teacher's capability is reflected by how he designs a lesson plan, as he should make it according to the needs and requirements of the students. New teachers need to make lesson plan because it is very difficult to teach by the very new teachers, and hence they must know what is exactly planning. Experience plays an important role in every field, so beginners need to learn, educate, and know the importance of lesson plans. A lesson planning is required to make teaching systematic and organizations. So when we want to teach in systematic way, and when we teach according to that, that is a lecture planning. That's why we require the lecture planning. Next question is that the essence of the engineering professions. The essence of the engineering professions. Particularly, my lecture modeling is for engineering education, and hence what is the essence of the engineering profession? I am giving idea about engineering education is nothing but engineering profession. Engineer teachers should be able to participate in engineering processes, contribute to the development of engineering solutions, and do so while working to professional standards in any organizations. Engineers need to understand the implications of technology on social, economic, and environmental sustainability factors. These factors are very important. We will discuss later on. The first factor is social, second is economic, third is environmental sustainability factors. In order to develop appropriate technical solutions in collaboration with actors, this is the essence of the engineering professions. Why do I like teaching so much? Because teaching is a profession, and hence we must like that profession very well. And what means that liking? Teaching is a tremendously creative process. Nowadays, teaching is very creative process. It is not a regular or it is not a simple process. It is very complex process. You have to understand the students' psychology, understand the physical standards or social standards of the students. Teaching is about creating relationships with the students. What are your teachers student relationship is very important for teaching process. Teacher who are able to establish a strong rapport get immediate positive feedback. Always we must have the good rapport with the students so that they can understand very well. Teaching is about believing that your students can learn. Teaching is developmental process. They must believe you and believe your teaching methods. Based on my teaching experience and research experience, teaching is developmental process for me. This is my experience because I am telling my story. Based on my teaching experience, because I have 36 years of experience in teaching, and I have some research experience. Every day, every time, I am changing my teaching style. Therefore, it is called as developmental process. A good teacher is one who can explain and demonstrate concepts in variety of ways for variety of learners and learning styles. So who is a good teacher? Because teaching is not a simple task, and hence we must have the different type of teaching methods according to the variety of learners. And hence, according to the variety of learners, we have to change our learning styles, our teaching styles. A good teacher is a good learner first. They learn how their students learn and modify their teaching accordingly. Because of the quality of the students, we have to change our strategy. Are good teachers born or they made? This is the question for you. Like professional leaders, because they are born for leadership. Similarly, whether the good teachers are born or are they made, both are possible. Whether teachers can be teach very nicely or they can learn how to teach to students. Some qualities of good teacher include skills in communications. Communication skill is must for good teaching. Listening, collaboration, adaptability, empathy, and patience. So these are the qualities of good teachers. First is communication, listening. Student, there must be rapport between students and teachers. Always teacher must listen the problems of the students so they can understand what they require. Collaboration. Next is adaptability. Adaptability means they have to change their habits of teaching every time. Empathy. Empathetically, they must listen the problems of the students. Every time, teacher must keep some patience, even though they have some problems in the classrooms. Other characteristics of effective teaching include an engaging classroom, presence, value in real-world learning, exchange best practices, and a lifelong love of learning. These are the characteristics of effective teaching. I will explain one by one in next slides. First is engaging classroom presence. If you are not engaging classroom very effectively, student will not learn that subjects. You have to explain some important real problems of the studies that may be related to the real world problems. Exchange of best practices. We have to exchange our best practices to the students, and we must have the lifelong love of learning. Otherwise, it is not possible to teach in good way. And hence, I have made model for planning lectures. This model is divided into 4 groups. First is that get ready. Get ready means you are ready to teach to students, and hence we have to prepare planning learning aims. We must have the learning aims and we have to plan that learning aims. We'll discuss later on. Second model is get started. When you entered into the classroom, we have the stages of learning, and according to the stages, we have to plan our lectures. Third model is get in detail. Now, when you entered into the classroom, you have to explain each and every terminology to the students, and hence we have at least a plan of single lectures for 1 hour or 2 hour. We have to make a plan for lectures a systematic way. Fourth model is get better, because always we have to deliver our lecture in better way, and hence we have to evaluate your lecture in proper manner. You have to take the feedback from the students. What are the contents of it? What are my delivery? What is my explanations? So you have to take feedback, and according to that, you have to change your planning lectures. So I will explain first get ready. That is the first model. Get ready, planning, learning aims. We have to decide what is my learning aims or what is my learning outcomes. When we decide learning aims and outcomes, then we have to specify and we have to make some clear statements of that. What students are expected to learn? This is the first question before planning the lectures. What students are expected to learn? Let us say one lecture of one particular subject, you have to give some idea about that subject to students, and hence students have some expectations from you and able to demonstrate at the completion of their course of study. These learning aims are decided considering knowledge and skills to satisfy the educational needs of the students. So we must know the knowledge of particular subject, contents of that subjects, and you must have the appropriate skill to explain that subjects according to the educational needs of the students. Now we have to understand what is learning outcomes. After getting learning outcomes, definitely our teaching methods are good. What is exactly learning outcome is specific detailed learning outcomes for personal and interpersonal skills. We have to develop our personal and interpersonal skills to give proper knowledge to students, product, process, system, and service building skills, as well as disciplinary knowledge consistent with program goals and validate at program stakeholders. We have three things that is called as triangle of education. What is a triangle of education? That is, first is knowledge, skills, and third is attitudes. The knowledge, skills, and attitudes intended as a result of engineering education, that is the learning outcomes. So all three are very important and is called as learning outcomes. These learning outcomes detail want students to know and be able to do at the conclusion of their engineering programs. Personal learning outcomes means one student and one teacher. So what do you mean by personal learning outcomes? Personal learning outcomes focus on individual students' cognitive and affective development. For example, engineering, reasoning, and problem solving, creative thinking, system thinking, critical thinking, and professional ethics. So these are the personal learning outcomes. We have to concentrate on very important things I want to explain. First is that engineering reasoning. Second is problem solving attitude. Next is the experimentation discovery. Whenever we want to do any experimentation, we have to discover that experimentation. Third is knowledge discovery, system thinking. If you are dealing with system, we have to think that system, that is called as system thinking. Always we require the creative thinking. So because of creative thinking, students automatically motivate to learn. that subjects. Critical thinking is the most important. So because if you are not critical and you must know the critical thinking skills, then automatically you are able to explain in proper way. And the last is you must have the professional ethics. Next is the interpersonal learnings outcomes. So you must know the what is mean by personal learning outcomes. Interpersonal learning outcomes focus on individual and group interaction. So how you deal with the students or audience, whether it is individual interaction or whether it is group interaction, that is very important. And this interaction is called as teamwork. You are the leaders, communication skills, communication in any language or in foreign language also. And you must know the specific learning outcomes. Specific learning outcomes are very important for teachers. What is that specific learning outcomes? Specific learning outcomes help to ensure that students acquire the appropriate foundation for their future, because students are learning their subjects for foundation of their future. Personal, professional engineering organization and industry representatives identify key attributes of beginning engineers both in technical and professional areas. So these are very important for teaching professional engineering organizations, whether you are from the particular organizations or you are the representative of the organization. Moreover, many evaluations and accreditation bodies, because in the teaching methods we have some bodies for inspection of the teaching methods, that is called as national accreditation bodies. That bodies expect engineering programs to identify program outcomes in terms of graduates, knowledge, skill, and attitudes. The teaching of personal, interpersonal, and professional skills. So these are very important. How this teaching is personal, interpersonal, and professional skills. To reach the intended learning outcomes in disciplinary knowledge and skills, the curriculum and learning experiences have to make due use of available time. What are the times available? You have the learning outcomes. Faculty play an active role in designing the integrated curriculum by suggesting appropriate disciplinary linkage as well as opportunity to address specific skills in their respective teaching areas. We have to framework of teaching methods. So that is called as framework for engineering practice. Whenever we have to teach that particular subject, when they entered into the industries, and we have to make all students industry ready-made students, industry ready students. And hence, how to produce the framework for engineering practice, I want to explain that. This framework is a broad outline of the task and responsibility of an engineer and the use of disciplinary knowledge in executing those tasks. Students engage in the practice of engineering through problem solving and simple design exercises individually or in teams. Because when you want to give practical knowledge to the students, and hence students can be engaged in problem solving skill, and we are providing some design exercises to make or to understand design procedures, whether that design may be given to individual students or that may be given to a particular group. Another important thing is introductory courses. We have to design the introductory courses. That is the aim of the students. That courses aim to stimulate students' interest in and strengthen their motivation for the field of engineering by focusing on the application of relevant core engineering disciplines. Let us say introductory course is electronics. So what they want and what is the field of working, what is the application of the relevant engineering. So all the factors may change to another engineering. Let us say from engineering, electronic engineering to mechanical engineering. The methods are not similar. Teacher must provide engineering design solutions, professional and career interest and social needs are very important. So students must explain with engineering design solutions, professional solutions, professional problems, career interests are very important, and they must design according to the social needs. What are the social needs? And that social needs can be understood by the students or the development. I want to explain important engineering learning. What do you mean by engineering learning? So there are two types of engineering learning workplaces. How do you teach to the students? One is physical learning, means you are teaching individually or in the groups, physically, not online. That is not digital. And that is called as physical learning environment. What is this physical learning environment means? It includes engineering workspaces, laboratories that support and encourage hands-on learning of products, processes, and the systems. We are engaging them personally to learn theory lectures as well as laboratories, and we are providing hands-on training to them. This environment enhances the quality of teaching and student learning. Workspaces and laboratories support learning. This method emphasizes hands-on learning in which students are directly engaged in their learning and provides opportunity for actual learning where students can learn from each other and interact with several groups. This is the advantage of physical learning environment. Now, another learning method is digital learning environment, that is digital technology in education. So what is this? It is online lectures where there is no physical learning, physical teaching, not possible. Whenever it is not possible, we will provide digital learning methods. And hence we have to provide digital learning environment, and it employs a digital learning technology to enhance the student learning experience as well as teaching effectiveness. So what is important in teaching learning, a digital learning environment? Because sometimes students are not listening your lecture, or they are not getting, or they are having some problems, they cannot ask directly to you. And hence, student learning experience is very important in digital learning environment. And teaching effectiveness is the most important because it is not a physical learning environment, so they cannot listen you properly. Teaching and learning are based on active and experimental learning methods. There are two types of learning methods. One is active learning methods, where we are providing theoretical knowledge to them and they are taking that knowledge to learn something. So that is called as active learning method. Second is experimental learning method, is very complicated. We have to provide experiments online and it is not possible just by computer way. We have to explain the experimental learning methods. What are the advantage of active learning methods? That students can engage directly in thinking, problem solving activities. We are providing some case studies during teaching, and through that case studies, students can develop thinking activities as well as problem solving activities. And hence, Active learning includes professional engineering practice, design projects, simulations, and case studies. And hence we are providing directly to them. What we are providing, that is professional engineering practice, which is very useful in the industries, design projects, particularly in the final year engineering. We are providing design projects to them. Second is simulation problems. They are preparing a simulations of the projects, and last is the case studies. Students should be engaged in thinking about concepts and new ideas. So we are explaining different concepts of the learning, different concepts of the experimentation, and students are motivated to generate new ideas through digital learning environments. And hence now the first part is finished. That is just observe that. What is the first? That is get ready. So get planning learning aims. And now we have second, that is get ready. Now you are entered into the classroom and you are giving learning aims to the students. And hence, what are the learning aims for the students? And that is called as, according to the Bloom's taxonomy, we have to generate the teaching methods, and that teaching methods can be categorized into simple method to complicated method, simple teaching to complicated teachings. Just first category is to know. So what is this to know? You are reproduce the knowledge, you are listing the knowledge, you are naming the knowledge. That is the first stage. Second is to understand. So to understand, students can understand the all theory portions that you teach in the classroom. So you have to ask the question in different manner, to describe, to outline, to explain, to clarify. Third stage is to apply. Whatever you explain that knowledge, that you have to apply that knowledge in reality. And you are providing some questions to the students by asking to solve that problem, to use that techniques to calculate some. You can say the calculate anything, and you have to say implement, to implement. So third stage is to apply. Now fourth is, after apply, we have to do with analyze. We are doing the analysis of the analysis of the problems, analysis of the case studies, and hence we have to ask the questions in the form of to derive, to distinguish, to detect, to identify, to match, to understand structure and the relations. So we are doing the analysis of the case studies. Next is to synthesize. So after analysis, we are doing the synthesis of that, and you have to ask the question students to design and develop, to combine, to purpose, and to plan. And last is to evaluate. So whatever they have made, we have to ask the question to evaluate. Means that is the last stage, evaluation stage. So for last stage of evaluation, we have to ask the question to assess in different forms, to assess, to rate, to decide, or to choose. So this is learning aims, and we have to plan according to that. So this is the get ready. And hence what you teach in the classroom, that teaching must be of smart learning aims. So what is mean by smart? Smart teaching, smart learning. So what is this smart learning and smart teaching? The teaching and learning process must be very specific. Teaching and learning process must be measurable. Teaching and learning process must be acceptable by the students. Teaching and learning process must be realistic. Teaching and learning methods must be taught in particular time, that is time. So teaching learning aims, I have given very in the smart way. And third stage is the get started. We have to make the planning stages of learning. There are 9 steps for your lectures. When you plan your lectures in different stages, it must contain 9 steps. I am explaining 9 lectures planning to you, and you have to plan the lectures according to that way. First is topic or content. So what is, I will explain one by one, just I want to give the names. First is topic or content. So what is second is the target group. Third is learning aims. Fourth is the methods. Fifth is the boundary conditions. Sixth is the agreement to content, aims and methods. Seventh is the program. Eighth is the documentations and equipment. And ninth is the agreements. So what is this first? And hence we have to plan our lecture according to that. Planning stages of learning. I want to explain all these 9 steps for making planning of the lectures. So what is planning stages of learning? So we have to do the educational planning. What I want to teach the students, that is called as educational planning. Educational planning is a process in which each college student is involved in self-assessment, exploring and integrating academic and career alternatives, and making decisions that are personally relevant for the present and the future. And hence, we have to do the education planning. Second is the topic or content. What is the topic of your subject? What are the contents of your subject? You have to explain in that way. You have to do the planning of that. What are the contents of my lecture? What are the contents of my subject? So what the topic or content includes the presentations of the learning objectives for that lesson. Now, so you have to do the listing of my presentation or your presentation, and that indicates the learning objectives for that lesson. What are the learning objectives for a particular lesson? You have to decide before teaching actually. The teacher presents new information about the topic. How to start the lecture? How to start the lecture is very important. The teacher presents new information about the topic. Second is possibly demonstrating a skill. You have to explain the topic, that information with a proper skill by giving some examples. And developing learners' knowledge. We are developing the learners. Here learners are the students. And next stage is the knowledge of content. Only contents are not sufficient, and hence we have to provide knowledge of a particular content. Content is an important aspect of teaching. We have so many contents in one lesson, and each content is an important aspect of teaching. A good teacher projects enthusiasm and love for the subject being taught. If the students are not interested, you have to create enthusiasm in the students, interest in the students, and we have to create love for that subject. And then students can understand a particular topic. Sharing personal enthusiasm for the content and learning. Engaging all students in the content is must. Otherwise, they will not learn that subject. Next is the target group. That is our audience. So what is the target group of my lecture? And you have to decide before entering into the classroom. You have to ask one question before starting your lecture during planning. Who is the audience? Who is my lecture audience? Who are my students? What they already know? Because if the students are in final year, they learn so many things up to third year, and how much they studied and how much they know your subject. And hence what they already know, you must know. It is important to decide the group. what the technical group, non-technical group, a school group, like that. You have to keep that. It is important to decide the group. The teacher will decide on the target group for his lesson plan. What is my target group? And hence, according to my target group, I will teach them, I will plan my lectures according to that. Next is the learning aims. What is aim? Aim is my target. I have to explain that aim to the students. Explain the aims of the lesson is our prime job. Explain the aims of the lesson. Why they want to learn. Guide students who are having problems. If students are having problems in learning of your learning aims, we have to guide them to understand their problems. Clarify doubts if they have. Sometimes students have many doubts or they don't understand your contents, and hence we have to clear their doubts first. Next is that methods of planning. So we have to plan the methods how I teach in the classroom. Next is that in the methods of planning, I have to arrange my classroom. How many students in one row, how many students are they watching blackboard, are they watching presentations very carefully or not, are the presentation is visible to them, and hence classroom arrangement is very important. Before starting you have to check it. Presentation of objectives. I want to explain something and you have to explain objectives of each content of the lessons, and then we have to make the evaluation of the particular objectives. If one objective is not understood by the students, you have to evaluate by asking some questions to the students. During that period, what you want to do, develop teaching methods that encompasses metal learning styles. You have to change learning styles and teaching styles according to the students. That must be very creative. Next is that boundary conditions. What is exactly boundary conditions? Every lesson has different boundaries. Every lesson has different boundaries, and every boundaries has learning objectives. You must understand what are my learning end of my learning boundaries, that what are my learning activities, and you are checking students understanding of each activities. That is called as boundary conditions. Students cannot go beyond that. If you understood boundary conditions, you can go to another content, that is next stage of learning. Agreement to content, agreement to aims, agreement to methods. We have to make a virtual agreement of contents, aims and methods. How it is done? Identify learning objectives. You have to identify learning objectives of your lesson planning. Break your objective into smaller goals. If your goal is very large, you have to make it shorter goals so that student can understand very easily. Develop your plan according to the smaller goals and take advantage of available resources. What is meant by available resources? Whether it's a chalkboard, presentations, videos, animations, that is called resources. If you are using very highly qualified resources in the classroom, student can understand all these resources very carefully and they can understand your subject. And last is the program. What is exactly programs? Program is that what students are learning, how they learn in the classroom. That is the program. You have to make the program in such a way that what is the need of students in the classroom. Okay, that is the program. What is the need of the student in the classroom? How to develop the effective learning plan for your students. If your learning plan is not sufficient, student cannot learn properly. And that is a call. You have to make the program for that, effective learning plan. That is a program. And hence, all the stages, 9 stages, I have explained all the 9 steps of your lectures, and you have to prepare your lectures in proper way. Now, it is very important. It is very important that how to prepare the documents and equipments for learning or teaching. After determining what your students need to learn, you must know what is the students need. According to the students needs, you have to determine what are the teaching contents. You can talk with them before learning, before teaching. You have to talk with them what is the capacity of the students. You have to understand, and during that period help the students during personal learning objectives, and you would be prepared your documentations as study material, and hence that is the documentations. You have to prepare your notes, you have to prepare your assignments, and that notes and assignments can be given to students as a documentation. And what types of equipment you will require that documents, in what way you are providing documents, are you providing uh, documents in the form of ppts or photos or your paper notes, or that may be in any forms. So that is documentation and equipments. Some of your students learn from your demonstrations. Your demonstration is very important. How to demonstrate your lecture, that is the first plan. Some of your students can learn very easily from your demonstrations, such as videos. If the students are not able to understand by theoretical way, we have to create some videos to explain that. You have to create some illustrations, some examples. You have to create some lab experiments to explain the theoretical way. On the other hand, students may like to take notes on everything you say. If the students are so matured, when you say something, they will note down your speech in the form of writing, and there is no need of giving more and more notes. They are so matured. Others may prefer listening to your lectures and talking with you to solve problems. Some students are very intelligent. They will talk to you, they will interrupt you, and by asking questions, and they will clear doubts. And hence, these doubts and problems can be solved by documentation and equipments. Next is that agreement between EU and your students. So what is exactly? We have to create the bond between you and your students. If the bond is very strong, you can teach them very effectively. So that is the agreement. It is virtual agreement. It is not on the paper. So what is this virtual agreement between you and your students? And such type of agreements can motivate students to accomplish students' targets. Students' targets are very important, and they can accomplish their targets through you, so that you are how you explain it. Next is take a closer look at every student to determine how they learn in your class. You have to listen each students very carefully during teaching. If some students are weak, we have to ask some questions to them. Now, I want to explain some pedagogical methods. We have some techniques to explain. Every teacher has different techniques, that is called as a pedagogical techniques, and you have to use the pedagogical techniques to explain something new, something some new information, some new knowledge to students through pedagogical techniques. What is this pedagogy? Pedagogy is the method of and practice of teaching, and hence every teacher has different method of teaching, practice of teaching. The main pedagogical practice mentioned was personalized instructions. You are giving some personal instructions to them and adapting to students' needs. You are, according to the students' needs, you are giving the informations. A good teacher is someone that is able to adjust to the needs of the students. If you are not able to solve their problems, then you are not a good teacher. And hence, we have to convert the complex problem into the simple problems. And hence, your job is converting complexity into simplicity. personalize and adapting instructions. Engaging students in learning, it is your prime duty, because students are not interested in your class, and you have to make the interest personally. Challenging students to work hard and think critically. Some students are very challenging, they are so intelligent, and you have to give very hard work to them, and you have to give some case studies so that they think very critically, and using a host of pedagogical best practices to them. So what is exactly best practices for the intelligent students, you have to decide. Teachers understand that an engaging classroom is not engaging for the sake of being engaging, but the engagement should lead to further sense making. So many faculty members are not engaging interesting classes just for the namesake, for the job sake. They are just teaching in the classroom. After they complete 1 hour or 2 hour in the classroom without explaining in proper way. So you must engage the classroom, not only namesake. You must involve all the students, and we have to create the interest in the particular subject. And the last stage is get in detail. So when they understand your objectives, your learning aims, you have to plan a single lecture in details. Each and everything must be explained in detail so that student can be able to learn something, and they can apply their knowledge in the industries, in the organizations. And hence, lesson plan and objectives are fundamental tools for demonstrating the applications. What is your lesson plans? What are your objectives? And that may say as a fundamental tool for the explanations. So what are the applications? What are the explanations and implications of technologies to your students are very important. Demonstrations are the single most effective method for technology teachers. So school teaching is different, engineering teaching is different, and hence every single point can be explained with proper demonstration, in particularly engineering teaching, with proper examples. A well-designed lesson plan is required for students and teachers to understand the goals of given module. So in the syllabus, we have different modules, module 1 to module 7, like that, 1, 2, 3, 4. According to the modules, from one module to the last module, the lesson becomes harder, difficult, and hence the last module is totally difficult to understand than the first module. And hence, according to the modules, you have to plan the lectures. Otherwise, student cannot understand your lectures. And I want to explain some getter better. Last is getter better, means they are able to understand your logic, your understanding, your information, your knowledge, your skills. And hence, we have to evaluate our lectures first. What are my lecture contents? How the students can understand my lecture contents very easily. And hence, I want to explain some getter better for your lectures. What is first better is that effectiveness of planning lectures. If you make effective lecture planning, definitely you have to give a effective information to the students. Next is a positive impact on student learning. If you are teaching well according to the lesson plan, definitely you can create a positive impact on student learning. Third is presenting a lecture. What you are using, chalkboard or animations or presentation, and what are the methods of your presentation is very important, and we call it as a presenting a lecture. Delivering quality lectures. What we require for delivering quality lectures? What do you mean by quality lectures? It is not giving only definitions, advantages, disadvantages, and applications. You have to explain the fundamentals, concepts, fundamental knowledge from the root level. If you are able to explain the fundamentals immediately, they can understand your delivery. Then you can say that my lecture is quality lectures. Next is the explain complex topics. Always remember that simple topics are very easy to understand. If you are not teaching them, that is okay. But complex topics must be explained in proper way, because students are not able to understand that complex topics very easily. Students performance is very important. Some students are not poor, so are not intelligent. Some students are very poor in the classroom, and hence according to the student performance, you have to give the lectures for poor students always, as well as intelligent students. If you are giving lectures only for intelligent students, poor students cannot understand your lectures effectively. Next is that records maintained by the teachers. What is my today's lecture? What is my future lecture? What was my past lectures? You have to maintain the records of your lecture in such a way that that lectures points can be converted next time into usefulness. You can change, you can keep changing your notes every times, and hence you must know what are my contents in my last lectures. Records maintained by the teachers are very important. Daily plans for success. Always everybody wants success lecture, effective lectures, and hence we have to make the daily plans of your lectures, learning objectives. Quality education. What do you mean by quality education? So always the students come in the college for quality educations. If you are not providing quality education to them, they will not come to the college, because whatever may be the contents available, it may be available in the Google, it may be available in the books directly. They can read very easily, and the complex part they cannot understood, and hence we have to give the proper education, that is the quality educations. Effectiveness of teaching students point of view. If you are not teaching according to the students point of view, your lecture is not effective, and they will give the wrong feedback to the wrong feedback about you. Next is the positive interaction with the students. What is your interaction? If somebody is asking a problem, somebody is asking doubts, then you have to interact positively. You have to explain them very positive way. Don't argue with them during teaching. Many teachers are arguing with them. I am correct, you are wrong, like that. To create positive classroom environment, so you have to create some positive environment in the classroom, so that student can understand very well, and you are motivating them to ask questions. If they are not motivating ask questions, they are not able to clear their doubts. Next is the student receive content knowledge, and because your planning, lecture planning is very effective, because your lecture plan contains very important contents, and your important contents they receive in your class teaching. And if you evaluate your lecture in this way, so this is the just your points for getter better. And to deliver in good quality, you have to follow this sequence. And I am asking some important questions to you. What is important in engineering educations? Many students are learning in the engineering education in many branches, many courses, many curriculum, and hence what is important, so you are giving, what knowledge you are giving to them, and what are the students requirements, it is very important. Just I am giving the brief about the engineering education. Students are entering into the engineering education just to learn employability skills development. So because we are giving some knowledge so that they can earn some jobs in some industries, in some organizations, and hence you make them employable. Next is that practical skills development. We have to give some hands-on training and interactive sessions, and you have to give the practical knowledge to them, so that they can develop the practical skills, and that practical skills can be used directly in the industries to solve the worker problems, to develop the quality products. And definitely they get easy jobs. Now the logical thinking is very important. Students are motivated to think logically, because logical thinking is not available in the books, and you must explain out of the box, because out of the box thinking is not available anywhere, and through the different case studies you are giving some knowledge to them, and that is called as logical thinking. You are making students in different way so that they can think and they can able to solve the any problem in the industries. Decision making skills, so this is very important. You are not only a teacher in the classroom, you are the educational leader in the classroom. According to the educational leader, you have to make them decision making skills. Sometimes they are not able to take proper decisions. If the machine fails or some problems in the industries, they wait for some decisions from higher authorities. If they are able to make a proper decision immediately, definitely they can start their work immediately without delay. And hence, if you are a good teacher and if you give knowledge about decision making skill, they learn that skills and develop them. Last is critical thinking. Critical thinking skill is very important, because engineering is not easy job, because there are so many varieties of learning skills. What are the varieties of learning skills? So if there is a problem in the scheme or in the system, and he must be able to solve in such a way that they must be able to solve any serious problem critically. So all these 5 development we have to give the students in the educations, and hence engineering education is so important, so that they can learn so many things from you and you become the good teacher. Then what is exactly good teacher? Role of teacher in a student's life, because you are the god for the students, you are the mentor of your students, and hence you are changing their skills by your teaching methods. And hence I have written one quote there: teachers play a very important role in students lives. Just understand this first sentence, because you are very important in students life, and hence you can have the ability to change the students life and they get better job. As a teacher, one must bring out the best in students. What is best in the students you have to identify and inspire them to strive for greatness, because you are able to give a good knowledge. You have to inspire them to learn something new out of the box. Students are considered the future of the nation and humankind, and teacher is believed to be credible guide for their advancement. You know that today in this industry 4.0 technology, this industry 4.0 technology is also called as advanced technological skills. So we have to develop the advanced skills in the students, and hence if you are creating that advanced skills into the students, they are able to understand future knowledge like additive manufacturing, cyber security, augmented reality, virtual reality. There are so many automations, robotics, developments of drones, developments of engines, machines like that. And hence we have to you have to that ability to change the complete life of the students. Not only do they guide students in academics or extracurricular activities, but teachers are also responsible for shaping child's futures, making them better human beings. So particularly from school levels, you have to change their psychological knowledge, because they are the societal behavior. They can change the societal behavior. They are the motivator. They are the inspire. They are giving some inspiration to the societies, and hence if you teach them social to make the social responsible, definitely you can create the social persons, a better social human being. A teacher imparts knowledge, good values, traditions, modern day challenges, and ways to solve them to students. And hence, you are a mentor of them, and you have to change their each and every qualities. And hence, I have written a last statement: a good teacher is an asset to the students, like physical things, like home. So you are very valuable for the students. A good teacher is an asset to the students because you are able to change their life. And what is important is that teacher must shift focus from active to interactive learning. So it is very important as you are shifting the active to interactive learning. Always interactive learning is very important because without teacher it is not possible. Teacher must divert focus from active learning to interactive learning. How it is possible? How interactive learning is given to students? A learning will be improved via innovative and experimental approaches. Always we have to give some innovative knowledge to students so that they can think differently. We have to give the experimental approaches. We have to create some case studies in such a way that we are creating some experimentations, and through that experimentations we are able to change their thinking power. Next is that if students are very weak in the studies, in the technical knowledge, and you can change their technical knowledge through gamifications. So we have the artificial intelligence. So through the artificial intelligence, we can develop the games, and through that games, we can give the knowledge to the students. We can develop some apps. We have to develop some apps in such a way that students can use that apps for the development of the studies, and they can learn faster. Many students are not able to understand the technical knowledge very easily, and that technical knowledge can be explained by giving like storytelling. So you are giving some knowledge in the form of story so that they can understand very well. Next is that you have to use different or numerous modes of teaching. If the students are not understanding by chalk and duster way, you can use the presentation, you can use the animations, you can use the different videos. And hence, many times we can understand them with by using some films. You can make the films of a particular subject. We can explain through poetry, so they can engage, or you can change their minds so that you can create the interest by using the poetry. You can develop the classroom into the theater rooms. Okay, so classroom is like a theater room. They are listening the film and listening the sound in such a way that they can learn something new. You can explain by music also. So by music way, you can give the knowledge to them. And with we have to change their real life problems. We have to solve their real life problems because they can become the problem solver in the industries. And hence, from school level, if you are giving the real life problems as a study, they can understand that way very easily. And hence, I want to explain what is exactly so enhancement of faculty competency. So what is exactly competency? That is the power of the thought, that is the strength of the teacher, so that teacher can explain in a proper way. And hence, it is necessary to enhance their knowledge, teacher knowledge in such a way that if teacher is very powerful in technical knowledge, they are able to explain in different way. And hence, enhancement in technical knowledge, enhancement in informations are very important students' point of view. And I want to explain that what we want: action that enhances faculty competence in personal and interpersonal skills. We have to develop through that competency that personal and interpersonal skills must be developed in the classrooms. The teaching program is very important. Teaching enhancement of teaching program is very must. What do you mean by enhancement of teaching program? Enhancement of teaching program provides support for improving the collective competence of the engineering faculty to understand what to teach. What to teach in the classroom is very important. Otherwise, student will not listen. According to your subject, you have to decide what to teach in the classroom and what are the learning outcomes of the program. If I am making my teaching program, I must know what to teach, how to teach, and what are the learning outcomes of my program. Okay. After that, faculty competence is very important for the students. That refers to the ability to support students to achieve deeper working understanding of the relevant disciplinary fundamentals. So disciplinary fundamentals are very important. If I am from mechanical branch, I want to explain disciplinary manner. What are the subjects in the mechanical branch? And I will support my subject in that way. So that is the faculty competency. I explain outstanding way. I make the PPTs, I make my lecture in such a way that student can achieve my lecture very easily. Of highly qualified faculty members we require in the technical field. If faculty is very weak in technical knowledge, how they teach very well in the classroom? And therefore, highly qualified faculty members would be recruited in the colleges, particularly in the technical colleges. If poor quality faculty members would be recruited, they are not able to explain very well. And hence, that is the first requirement. High qualified teachers is must in the technical education. Intelligent teachers. What is meant by intelligent teachers? Intelligent teachers would be promoted to higher position for motivations. If the teachers are not promoted to higher position from lecturer, assistant professor, associate professor, professor, vice principal, principal, and hence teachers cannot learn so many things because they cannot motivate students if they are not giving promotions. Promotion is one of the criteria of the enhancements of the faculty competency. Faculty members would be sent for industrial training in the industries. If teachers are not connected with the industries, they are not able to teach technical knowledge, the recent technical knowledge to the industries. They are just bookish. They are providing bookish knowledge to the students. If they are providing bookish knowledge, students cannot work in the industries, and hence organizations must take care of their training. The faculty members must be sent to industries for a particular period or in the summer vacations or winter vacations. And you have to make some MOUs so that how to make the MOUs with the industries, how to make with the MOUs with higher universities, how to make the collaboration with the foreign universities. That is must for the development of the students. If you are making MOU with the related industries, definitely research and consultation can be improved in the organizations, in the technical education. And what are the advantages of that technical improvements in the teacher, so that they can give the appropriate knowledge during the final year student projects. You can take some projects from the industries. You can use that industrial project knowledge in the experimental way in the final year projects, so that they can develop their industry's problems very well. Students can understand industry problem before entering into the industries. And hence, what are the another advantage? So you get the consultation of industry person, what is wrong and what is correct in the teaching. And whenever we have the MOU with industries, you can ask them directly what is new knowledge in the industries, so that I can improve, I can change my syllabus according to that. So this is very important change in the system, in such a way that whenever I have a MOU with industries, I am able to change the academic curriculum according to the industry requirements. A key aspect of expertise. I get the expertise in my lecture. I can explain in a proper way to the students with a experimental way, and hence I can change my pedagogy, content knowledge. And whenever I explain with appropriate technical experience to students, students can get interest in the subjects and they can see it in my class, and hence I have to explain the students in proper way, and hence always to the faculty members can be learn so many things related to your subject and your technical knowledge with the industries, and hence you always, my suggestion is that you must consult with industries problems. Next is that this your expertise, your contents of the lectures refer to the refer your ability with the student supports. Student support is very important during delivery of your lectures. If you are not getting support from the students, you are not able to explain your lecture in proper way. Now next is that rapid pace of technological innovations. Always students are attracted for when you explain the technological innovations, and why this technological innovation requires in the technical education, because these technical innovations is always updating your engineering skills, and hence when you are updating your technical skills, engineering skills, definitely students are able to change their engineering skills, technological skills very easily. The collective faculty needs, you have to understand what is collective faculty needs to enhance its engineering knowledge. Always engineering knowledge are very important for the students as well as faculty, and that can be provided with relevant examples to students. If I am not able to give the knowledge and skills with appropriate technical knowledge to the students, and I cannot change their roles in the industries, and definitely when you use your knowledge and skills with higher qualities, definitely you become the role model for the students, technically role models that can say. Learning programs are very important. Learning programs take action to enhance faculty teaching competence required for effectively creating, delivering, and improving courses in the curriculum. Always remember that you are not only teacher, you are the knowledge creator, you are the person, you are delivering appropriate knowledge to the students, you are giving, you are not only giving knowledge, you are able to change complete subject curriculum in such a way that that subject curriculum can match globally. It is very important for teaching quality enhancement. So how to enhance my teaching quality? So you must understand something new. For teaching quality enhancement, faculty members must be involved in participation in university. We have so many universities in the countries, outside the countries, and hence we have to participate each and every activity in the industry, and you have to participate in the recent faculty development programs, and you are creating a technical forum, you are creating technical forum for sharing ideas. If you are not creating technical forums for sharing your ideas, you are not able to collect good knowledge from your colleagues, your teachers, and hence what is exactly best practices in the education. The best practices in the education is very important at university level, national level, and international level, and we have to create the best practice platform so that you are able to explain at university level. If you are not able to explain at university level, college level is okay, but university level is very difficult. National level it is very difficult, international is very difficult. Whenever you are participating in international level, global level, collaborative universities, you are having some MOU with different universities, definitely you are you can become the good quality teacher. In faculty members, if faculty members are expected to teach and assess in new ways, always you are able to create a new knowledge, new ways of teaching. If you are not connected with different universities, you are not able to create new knowledge, new ways of teaching, and hence you have to create some important teaching standards. You must understand important teaching standards globally. If you are teaching in the college level, that is not sufficient. You have to create the knowledge in such a way that you have to become the international global teacher, and hence we have to accept the teaching standards with global knowledge. And teacher need opportunity to develop, improve the importance of teaching. So what I am telling now, you have to you need opportunities. If you are not getting opportunities, you cannot develop yourself. You need opportunities to develop. You need opportunities to improve the teaching importance. You must know the what is exact teaching. You must know what is exact learning. You must know what is the assessment evaluation, and all way we have to develop the competencies in 3 ways. One is by learning, by teaching, by evaluation or assessment. Thank you very much. Thank you. If you have any doubts, you can ask me.
Thank you so much, sir. It really is very amazing. Thank you so much.
Any questions?
1 minute. I check email. 1 minute. No, we have not question. All participants are happy and right. All thank you so much. Beautiful, sir. A wonderful session and congratulate, sir. Thank you so much.
Teaching
Thank
is
you.
totally different. Teaching is totally different. So it is nowadays completely changed according to the scenario. Global teaching is very important.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Really very important presentation you present, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.